animals should die on their own.
Wildlife does not naturally trust human animals. It's not about science, it's about heart.
Hello and welcome to Critters and Cultures, the podcast where we explore the fascinating intersection of animal welfare and cultural diversity. I'm your host and veterinarian, Dr. Azalia Boyd, ready to uncover how our cultural differences influence, enhance, and sometimes challenge the way we care for animals and relate to each other. Join us on this journey through global traditions, learning from diverse perspectives, and advocating for empathy and respect in all our interactions. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Critters and Cultures. If something resonates with you during the episode today, please feel free to send us a direct message or comment below. On today's episode of Critters and Cultures, we are joined by another esteemed guest, Dr. Yousif Ibrahim, a visionary in wildlife conservation and veterinary leadership. Dr. Ibrahim serves as a veterinarian at the Aramco Shaba Wildlife Sanctuary, where he works to protect and preserve the delicate ecosystems of one of the world's most unique reserves. He's also the CEO and founder of the Veterinarian's Platform. It's a global initiative fostering collaboration, innovation, and knowledge sharing among veterinary professionals around the world. Dr. Ibrahim's work bridges the worlds of wildlife conservation, community engagement, and professional empowerment, making him a leader whose insights resonate far beyond veterinary medicine. Dr. Ibrahim, welcome to the Critters and Cultures show.
Thank you so much, Dr. Azalia, and your followers and your area in this broadcast. I'm so excited to be here today. Firstly, let me to introduce myself. My name is Dr.
Sure.
Yousif Ibrahim in Tilat Veterinary Center at Sheba Wildlife Sanctuary. It's protected area by Saudi Aramco. I'm wildlife veterinarian. I'm wildlife rehabilitators. Also, I'm COO and founder of the veterinarian platform in WhatsApp application. I'm so happy to be here today with our followers and everybody here in this podcast.
Yeah, that's so good. And I'm sure people are excited to learn, like, wait, who is this guy? Where is he? So you are in Saudi Arabia right now, right?
Right.
And then you're a wildlife veterinarian. So you deal with what type of animals?
Here I'm working here in Saudi Arabia in Sheba Wildlife Sanctuary. This sanctuary created eight years before, 8 years now at Saudi Arabia at the eastern area. We have many wildlife animals like redneck ostrich, oryx, sandy gazelle, Arabian hubara, and Arabian hare.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to find pictures of those. I'm gonna have to see what animals. I think I got the ostrich, and then the other animals I don't do anything with here in the States. So I'd have to look at photos. I'm sure that is amazing work. And being a wildlife veterinarian is not easy work at all. The veterinarians in Saudi Arabia, are most of them wildlife veterinarians, or is it like a mix? Are there also a good mix of what we call companion animal, like dog and cats veterinarians in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, in Saudi Arabia we have many animals different from sanctuaries, from pets animal and domestic animals in our homes. Diverse here in Saudi Arabia regards to diverse in the area and ecosystem.
So tell me a little bit about you. What's your earliest memory of connecting with animals? How did you know that you wanted to be a veterinarian?
Let me say or let me to what how my relationship with animals began. From my memory, from my earliest memories, animals have been at the heart of my life. Growing up in Sudan, I was raised in a loving family that was as much about animal. It was about people. Our home was lively and diverse, a shared space with sheep, lambs, rabbits, small monkeys, chirping canaries, and of course our loyal dogs and affectionate cats. Sudan's, Dr. Azalia, Sudan's spacious home. It is savanna climate. The heavy rain of the wet season provided the perfect backdrop for this coexistence. Caring for these animals was second nature to me. I delighted in playing with them, caring them, feeding them, and ensuring they received their vaccination at the veterinary clinic. Our bond extends beyond the wall of our home to the entire neighborhood. For example, Lawrence and Jack, our two vigilant dogs, were beloved not just by our family but by the community, as they provided nightly security for neighbors, guarding against intruder. This upbringing is sharing my past. Really, this upbringing shaped my past, while my academic achievement qualified me to study human medicine, dentistry, pharmacy. I felt an unshakable pull toward veterinary science. My choice was not merely a career decision. It was calling rooted in my love for animals and the deep responsibility I felt to care for them.
I feel like our stories are very similar. I had a deep connection with animals when I was growing up from a very young age, as early as I can remember. But my family always thought that I was a little crazy. Was your family supportive of you becoming a veterinarian?
My family, let me say, I created this animal, all of these people, no distributed from this animal from our people, from all community and all people in the area. He pushed me to become handling with animal and loving animals.
Tell us about your veterinary studies.
Okay, this is an amazing story also. Entering the College of Veterinary Medicine was like stepping into a world of endless discovery. I immersed myself in subjects like anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, and histology, each course unveiling the intricate design of animals' life. But veterinary medicine is more than science. It is an art require understanding the emotional and physiological aspect of animal care. My studies introduced me to delicate balance required in handling animals, particularly wildlife. You know, wildlife, unlike domestic animal, wildlife does not naturally trust human. Every interaction had to be carefully managed to avoid causing them stress or harm. Handling required patience, precision, and respect of their instincts, a lesson that would later become a cornerstone of my practice.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that. And so, how many years did it take you to go through the studies?
Actually, 6 years.
Okay, 6 years. For us in the States, it's 8 years. So, it's 4 years of undergraduate studies and then 4 years of veterinary studies.
Oh, 8 years. It's
Yeah.
long.
So to do wildlife, did you have to do something, a different school, a different schooling, or a different section, or a different study instead of doing domestic animals? Or did you have to study domestic animals and wildlife animals, study everything, and then go specialize in wildlife? Or did you choose?
In the university, the first 2 years we study as general for every veterinary medicine, and from third years you can choose which depart which you can select to go on in this
Okay.
veterinary medicine. After graduation, I specialized in wildlife care, a field where science and compassionate intersect. As a wildlife rehabilitator, my work revolved around helping animals in distress, orphans, the injured, and those displaced by environmental changes. Rehabilitation was far more than medical treatment. It is involved understanding the unique needs of each species, from their physical requirement to their emotional well-being. Also, work with wildlife is a humbling experience. Each day begins with rounds observing and assessing the animal under my care. Over time, they start to recognize and trust us, responding not with words but with calmer behavior and subtle gestures. Their initial fear fades, replaced by attentive acceptance. In this moment that you realize the profound connection that care can create between humans and animals.
Yeah. So you love wildlife. You feel an emotional connection with wild animals.
Yeah, I loved wildlife. Now I prefer all animal, but I prefer wildlife animals in the first for everything.
Wow. When you're working on a reserve, are there animals that you come across that you cannot rehabilitate, that maybe they're too sick and you have to handle the best thing for them is taking them out of their suffering. How do you guys handle euthanasia in Saudi Arabia? Also, before you answer, just for the audience to understand, Saudi is an Islamic country, is that right?
Yes, yes, Islamic country, yes.
So, are there practices around Islam that you can share with us, or just practices about euthanasia that you want to share with us?
Yes, in Saudi Arabia is Islamic area, Islamic region, but anything about relating by animals, we do is that what is the best for animals. Let me take this story. Not every story in veterinary medicine has happy ending. One of the hardest part of this profession is facing the reality of euthanasia. When an animal is unbearable pain has no chance for recovery, the most compassionate choice is to let them go peacefully.
Yeah.
Euthanasia is a deeply emotional process, both for the caregiver and the animal. It begins with assessing the situation carefully, weighing the animal's quality of life, and consulting with others involved in their care. The decision never taken lightly. Once the choice is made, the process involves administering a sedative to calm the animal, ensuring they are pain-free and comfortable. The final injection stops the heart, ending their suffering. While it is heartbreaking, euthanasia is an act of love. It is a way of honoring the life of the animal by bearing them unnecessary pain. I have found that even in this moment, there is a sense of peace in knowing we have done the best for them.
Yeah. Many people ask me, like my clients, when I have to euthanize their animal, they're crying, they're upset, and they're asking me, we don't know how you do this. How can you do this? Your job is so hard. And I agree with you. There is a peace, it's hard, but it's still a peace that you feel knowing that you're taking them out of suffering, right? Some people don't agree with euthanasia. Some people believe that animals should die on their own. If an animal gets hit by a car or a squirrel or a possum or something like that, just leave them and let them be. And that's one way. But then I'll share this with you. We have wild animals that are living outside, not in reserves, and people will hit them with their car and bring them into the veterinary emergency hospital for us to euthanize them so that they're not suffering. But yeah, I think that euthanasia is such an emotionally charged aspect of our work. Okay, wild animals. How do you catch them? How do you even get a hold of an ostrich? I think an ostrich is one of the fastest birds in the world. What do you do to handle these animals?
Is the capture of wild animals especially is that difficult story. We need to go to take some tools to capture animals in our sanctuary. One of the most challenging, really yet rewarding aspect of wildlife veterinary work using dart gun for animal immobilization. As they said before, unlike domestic animals, wildlife cannot be restrained manually for medical procedures. A dart gun become an essential tool, allowing us to sedate animals safely and from a distance. Using a dart gun requires skills and preparation. The dosage must be precisely calculated based on the species, size, and health of animal. A miscalculation can result in an overdose or an ineffective dose, putting the animal at risk. Once the dart is administered, the animal must be monitored closely as they become sedated. I remembered one particular case involving a critically injured gazelle that had wandered into a reserve. The gazelle was limping, clearly in pain, but too skittish to approach. Using dart gun, I sedated the animal and carefully transported into two treatment area. The injury, a deep laceration on this hind leg, was cleaned and sutured. After a period of observation, the gazelle was released back into the wild, a moment triumph for our team.
Yay! I absolutely love that. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. I love that so much. Let me ask you this. So, here in the state, there is a lack of representation. And I know I'm going to ask English is not your first language, right?
My natural language is Arabic and English is the second language.
Okay, so Arabic is your first language.
Yeah.
In Saudi Arabia, is there a lot of people that look like you? Here in the States, there's not a lot of veterinarians that look like me. So I am 2% of the population of Black veterinarians. Saudi Arabia is different, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So everybody is the same?
Not all, but mostly.
Mostly, yes. You don't have that issue. Are there children that want to be veterinarians that maybe they need to be inspired by you as a mentor, as a leader? Are there children that know what you do and want to be a veterinarian like you?
Not all, but children in from initiated, they go to medicine or to other law or veterinarian. It is, this acceptance. It is not now. It is fully for all children in Saudi Arabia.
Why?
Maybe this from culture, actually from culture. The area of Saudi Arabia now, it is, as I mentioned, it is big area. All people here will become, you need to, at future, to become doctors, to become engineers, because, the habitats of wildlife area or habitat of animals, it's not available for all.
What would you say to a child who wants to be a veterinarian like you in Saudi Arabia and they feel maybe they can't do it? What would you say to encourage them?
The veterinarian now, it is everything now in Saudi Arabia encouraged to become change mind. Now, as last years, everything, connection or concentrated about to become the general jobs, not veterinarian. But now, after this extension in habitats and reserve, in sanctuary, in ecosystem now changed for different area. Now Saudi Arabia now become many of area reserving for animals. Let me say about notable success, Sheba Wildlife Sanctuary. Sheba
Yeah.
Wildlife Sanctuary, one is the most inspiring example of wildlife conservation in Saudi Arabia, protected area by Saudi Aramco, established 8 years ago. The reserve has created a haven for endangered species, providing a safe environment where they can flourish by protecting their habitats and supporting their growth. The reserve has become a beacon of hope in the fight against extinction. Also, in Saudi Arabia now we have many sanctuaries. I think about 23 or 25 sanctuary, and this now included in Saudi Arabia Vision 2030.
Wow. So it's expanding.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love that. What would you say is for the wildlife rehabilitation career? What is the most rewarding part for rehabilitating wildlife?
Wildlife rehabilitation is more than profession. It is a commitment to preserving life and restoring balance to ecosystem. Let me say three main factors highlights its importance. Number one, human wildlife conflict. As urbanization expand, roads, building, and agriculture development encourage on wildlife habitats, living animal displaced and vulnerable. Second, climate extremes. Natural disaster like wildfire, floods, and hurricanes force animals out of their habitats, often leaving them injured or orphaned. The last point, pollution like oil spills, plastic waste, and other pollutants pose serious threats, causing injuries and long-term environmental harm. The work of wildlife rehabilitation involves addressing these challenges head-on. It requires collaboration between veterinarians, conservationists, and communities to ensure animals have a chance to recover and thrive.
It's good to know that the collaboration is so important, right? The conservationists, the veterinarians, everybody works together to make sure that the animals thrive. Well, I want to thank you so much for adding your insights on today's show. Usually I ask the guest at the end of the show, if there is one thing that you want people to know, what would it be? It could be about you, it could be about your culture, it could be about your work. If there's one thing that you want the audience to know, what would would that one thing be? And what I would love for you to do for me, Doc, is because I think some of the people that are going to be listening are going to have Arabic as their first language and not English. If you can, at least in this moment, say that one thing that you want us to know in English, but then any message for those in Arabic that are listening for primary Arabic as their language, please give them 5 minutes of your time, just explaining a little bit about what we talked about today and any message that you want to leave.
يعني في الحقيقة نحن بنحاول نوصل رسالة لكل المشاهدين والمتابعين اللي بيتابعونا من خلال هذا البرودكاست. يعني في الحقيقة لازم يكون في جهود حقيقية تبذل في المحافظة على الأنواع وعلى الحيوانات، والاهتمام بالحيوان يكون يعني من ضمن الأولوية. ليه؟ لأن الحيوانات الآن بقت متداخلة، يعني قضية حقيقية بين الإنسان والحيوان. الحيوان بقى هو ممثل مصدر مشترك ما بين الإنسان وما بين البيئة. المحافظة على الحيوان يعني المحافظة على البيئة، يعني المحافظة على صحة الإنسان.
That is beautiful. I have no idea what you said. But it's a beautiful message. And I thank you so much for being here. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me and interpret in Arabic, or are you done for today?
No, thank you, Dr. Azalia. But finally, I need to state something about my journey in veterinary medicine.
Tell us.
Really, my journey in veterinary medicine has taught to me that caring for animals is not about science, it's about heart. Each animal I have treated, whether through rehabilitation, routine care, or the difficult decision of euthanasia, has left an imprint on my soul. The bond between humans and animals is a testament to the power of compassion, whether it is a worry, trust of wide capture, creator, or the quiet acceptance of suffering animal in their final moments. This interaction reminds us of our shared connection. Wildlife rehabilitation is not just about saving animals, it's about preserving the delicate balance of our world and honoring the life of every creature we encounter. Thank you so much, Dr. Azalia, for letting me this chance to be here today, and our followers and our audience in this amazing podcast. Really, it's wonderful experience.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, because you have brightened my day, believe it or not. I love the work that you're doing. I love that the work that you're doing all the way in Saudi Arabia is impacting the ecosystem, meaning the world that I am living in, all the way here in the US, for the greater health of our globe. Right. And so I appreciate the work that you're doing. And thank you for joining us on the Critters and Cultures podcast. And thank you so much for everybody who's listening today, joining us on the Critters and Cultures podcast, where we explore the deep connections between humans, animals, and the world around us. Remember, every person has a story, every creature has a story, and every culture has its wisdom. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep discovering the wonders of our shared world. Thank you.